In this bass lesson, you're going to learn 4 bass lines that are just made up of the minor pentatonic scale. Hi, I'm Luke from Become a Bassist, and if you want to master your pentatonic scale and actually make some music while you do it, then check this video out. I think you'll be into it. Bass players love the minor pentatonic scale. They use it all the time. But most of the time, it's not actually for making bass lines. There are relatively few bass lines that only use the pentatonic scale and nothing else. Most bass lines actually focus on the roots of the chords, which are kind of rarely just the notes of the pentatonic scale. But there are a few lines that use the whole minor pentatonic scale on bass, so they're perfect for us to use. Now, there are tons of bass lines that use some or even most of the pentatonic scale, but for this video, I specifically chose lines that only use the minor pentatonic and use all the notes within it. That means that all 5 notes of the scale and only those 5 notes. No blues scale or anything fancy, just the minor pentatonic for either the whole song or at least a full section of a song. So, let's dive in. The first line we'll be looking at is Low Rider from War. This is possibly one of the coolest pentatonic bass lines ever put together, and if you're just learning the pentatonic, it doesn't get much simpler than this. Here's what it sounds like. Yeah, this is basically what it does the whole song. Now we're using the G minor pentatonic in this bass line. That's these notes: G, B flat, C, D, F, and of course that high G as well. But we're not actually starting on the root down here. We're actually starting on the F below that, first fret on the E string. Yeah, so we start that on beat 1 and go straight up to G minor pentatonic. That means playing this G, 3rd fret on the E string, the B flat, C and D, 1st, 3rd and 5th fret on the A string. And at the very end you can give a bit of variation, and there are 3 that get used a lot. The first is just playing the F 2 times before going up to the G. Yeah, the next one is kind of yo-yoing back and forth between the F and G, just like that. And the last one actually extends the minor pentatonic up to the G string with a B flat and a C, so that'll look like this. Yeah? Just like that. Now if you check out the recording, you'll hear all the different variations, but they're all just the minor pentatonic scale. Just like that. By the way, if you'd like the tabs and notation for all these bass lines, I've made them available for download on becomeabassist.com. Just click the link in the description and you'll be taken to the page where you can sign up for them completely free of charge. Let's move on now to our second line, and this one is from Sly and the Family Stone bass player Larry Graham, and it's called Sing a Simple Song. Now if you don't know this tune, go and check it out. It's a total banger, and the bass line sounds like this. Yeah, now there is another bridge section that's not minor pentatonic, but this is the line for most of the song. We're in the people's key of E, and we're using the E minor pentatonic scale. Yeah, we're starting on the 7th fret of the A string. Now from here, we're just playing the D underneath, the 5th fret, then down to the B on the 7th fret of the E string, and back up to the E. So we get this. Yeah, now from here, we're going to go up to the 5th fret on the D string, then back down to our D, 5th fret on the A, and then 2 E's. So we get, yep. So, first part of the phrase is this. Yeah, simple enough so far. Now next we're going to shift out of this position and actually hit our low E, our open E string, but as sort of a ghost note. It is there, but it's more just for rhythm than it is for the actual note. The G and the A that come after it though, on the 3rd and 5th fret of the E string, are very strong. So we get ghost note on the E, and then strong G, strong A. Yeah? Hear that? The G and the A are way stronger than that first E. After this though, we do get some strong low E's. We get 2 of them. We get this. Yeah? Now then we're going to go all the way up to our 9th fret on the D string and play this. Yeah, that's the last part of the bass line. That's the 9th fret on the D string, then 2 E's, 9th fret on the G, then 1 on D, 7th fret right here, and finally 2 more E's to finish. Yeah, so the whole line, one more time, is going to sound like this. Yeah? Now notice how we're not just going up or down the minor pentatonic in this tune like we were with Lowrider. We're still using all of the notes of the scale, but we're kind of going all over the place. We're down here, we go back up here. It's a bit more active and maybe even a bit more exciting. Next though, we're going to learn a song that uses multiple minor pentatonic scales. It's a song from Led Zeppelin called Moby Dick. This song is kind of more famous for the epic John Bonham drum solo, and you should definitely check that out. But for us, we'll be focusing on the riff. Now the song is essentially a blues form in the key of D, and it sounds like this. Yeah, pretty sweet, right? So let's break it down. We're starting on our D right here, 5th fret on the A string, and we're jumping straight up to our high D, 7th fret on the G string. So low D, high D. So we get 2 of those, 2 of the high ones, and then we come down to our C, 5th fret on the G, then the A, 7th fret on the D string. Now from here we're going to go and jump down to this F, 3rd fret on the D string. And then from here we kind of yo-yo back and forth from this F to the G, the 5th fret on the G string. F, G, F, G, F. Yeah, makes sense, right? So the phrase sounds like this. And then we just play that a couple of times. Yeah, so in the song we actually play it 4 times before we move on. 2, 3, 4. Yeah? Now when we do move on, we actually play the exact same thing, but starting on our low G, the 3rd fret of the E string. Then we can just plug in the exact same pattern. Yeah, see how it's all the same? All we're doing is plugging in this exact same shape into a different point on the bass. Yeah, so we play this on the G twice before we go back to our starting point and play the original phrase 2 more times. So starting from the G, we get, that's 2, back to the D. Yeah? In our turnaround, we get something a little bit different. John Paul Jones doesn't play it the same every time, but it'll sound something like this. Yeah? Now we start as though we're playing the same riff, but starting on this A right here, the 5th fret of the E string. The first 5 notes are the same pattern as our other 2 phrases. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah? Instead of going back down here though, we actually go back up to our A, hit it twice, then back to our E, 7th fret on the A string, and then our G again, before finally going back up to the A one last time. So we get this. Yeah, just over that A. Then we get something new. We get this. We get 5 Gs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th fret on the D string, then down to our F, and then our D. And then finally we go back up to our high D, and then just come down that D minor pentatonic scale. Yeah, so that's it. And then after that, all we do is play our very first phrase 2 more times. Yeah, that means the whole thing is going to sound like this. 3, 4. it's a really cool line that actually uses multiple minor pentatonic scales, which does happen, but it is kind of rare, so this is a really cool line. Our final line comes from Stevie Wonder. Now, Stevie absolutely loves pentatonic licks and riffs in his songs. There are a ton of them in the clavinet part of Superstition, for example, the kind of semi-pentatonic licks in Sir Duke, the little fragments in Do I Do. But for us, we'll be checking out the monster pentatonic lick from Master Blaster. This is easily the hardest one we've talked about so far, but it's just pure minor pentatonic scale, this time in the key of C minor. It'll sound like this. Yeah, now we've got a big range on this bass line. Like I said, this is a monster pentatonic lick. Our lowest note is this G all the way down here, and our highest note is this E flat all the way up on our G string. Now there are a couple of different ways you can play this line, but just for simplicity's sake, I'll show you how I play it and where all the position shifts and all that kind of stuff happen. So we're going to start on this C on the E string, the 8th fret. Now remember, our C minor pentatonic scale is C, E flat, F, G, and B flat, so that's all we'll use for this line. So from this C, we're going to go down to our B, and then back up to our C and our E flat. Yeah? Now once we've done that, we can get to our first little tricky bit. We go C, E flat, F, G, F, E flat, C, B flat, C. Yeah, now we can stay all in one position for it. Just like that. See how everything's kind of right there for us? And then we kind of repeat ourselves. We get this. Yeah, we get G, B flat, C. So we kind of have to move out of position for that one. And then it's kind of similar to the last line we had, but instead of going down, we're actually going to go up. Yeah, so after we get to the E flat, we go up to this G right here. And I like to shift up here because after this we have to kind of go a little bit further up the neck right there. For the next part of the line, we'll start on the F on the A string, the 8th fret. Yeah, so from this F right here, we go up to the G and then the B flat, and then very similar to our first phrase, we get this. Pardon me. Rhythmically, it's exactly the same as our first phrase, it's just that the contour of the line is now just a little bit different. Then the ending of the line is probably the trickiest part. We're going to start on this B flat, and then go to the C and then the E flat, and then we're going to go down the minor pentatonic scale in groups of 3, starting on this E flat. That means going E flat, C, B flat, our first group of 3, and then C, B flat, G, second group, B flat, G, F, E flat. So we get... Now this is where the pattern breaks a little bit though. If we were to continue doing it, we'd go to the F here, but we actually go back up to the G and start the same pattern again. So that's where I start to come out of position. So we go G, F, E flat, all on the A string, then F, C, E flat, C, B flat, C, B flat, down to our low G here, and finish everything up on the C again. So the last part of the phrase slowly looks like this. Yeah? And the whole thing at tempo sounds like this. Yeah? Everything purely pentatonic and quite a workout. Once again, if you need the tabs and notation for all these bass lines from this video, just click that first link in the description, fill out the form on that page, and I'll send them straight to your email address so you can get started playing them today. It's 100% free and 100% fun as well. To recap though, you learned 4 purely pentatonic bass lines. We checked out War's Low Rider, then Sly and the Family Stone's Sing a Simple Song, Led Zeppelin's Moby Dick, and finally we checked out the monster pentatonic section from Stevie Wonder's Master Blaster. Now hopefully I'll be sending you that PDF with all the tabs and notation soon. Just click that link to get started. Thanks so much for hanging out, I really appreciate it. I'm Luke from Become a Bassist, and I'll see you in another bass lesson really soon.